feel the washing liberal tears. As dreams dissolve and hope just clears, the unwashed masses pause and learn. Their hearts ablaze begin to burn. They cast their votes in hopeful lines, but now they face these troubled times. Kamala's name they spoke with pride, now they face a changing tide. Cries of loss and shouts of rage, turning over a new page. In the field where dreams lay bare, hoping for a breath of air. To her speaking bright, to guide them through the darkest night. But now with tears they walk the path, seeking solace in their wrath. The great unwashed, they'll find their way. In the end they'll seize the day. United by their calm and fight, they'll emerge into the light. Cries of loss and shouts of rage, turning over a new page. In the field where dreams lay bare, turning over a new page. In the field where dreams lay bare, hoping for a breath of
air. It all started with so much promise, didn't it? November 2024. It started with so much promise. And then,
what do you mean by promise? It really does.
He'd had a great first term, albeit 4 years later, but what the hell happened? He went batshit crazy.
Well,
Ben's back! Ben's back in the house!
And I am completely out of the loop. Completely out of the loop. So basically, John is going to guide me. He's going to hold my hand, if you will. He's going to bring me through this Trump era, I believe we're talking about, aren't we?
Yeah, we're gonna go through some of the monumentous decisions that Mr. Trump has made since he became the 47th president. Is that correct?
45th and 47th, yes.
Yeah, 45th and 47th. Well, there you go. So, Trump's wild rides, right enough.
Do we think that he'll make it to the end of his term? But do we think he'll make it to the end of his term?
But you know what? There's a whole debate to be had about whether he will or won't, because you know things could go really, really crazy if somebody drops a nuke. Everything's up for grabs.
Now, who's going to do that, though?
Netanyahu?
No, I personally think... I personally think if anyone's going to drop a nuke, it's going to be Putin. He's going to be baited. Yeah, I think he's going to be baited. And I mean...
I don't think so.
I think one thing we have all learned in the last couple of weeks, thanks to the actions of Donald Trump, is pretty much everyone in the Middle East hates Iran.
Well, do they or don't they? You see, this is the problem. You just don't know because there's so much disinformation, misinformation, and just out and out propaganda. You don't have a fucking clue what's going on.
The fog of war.
What's the first casualty of war?
The truth.
Information. Absolutely
Just
correct.
the truth. The truth.
Yeah.
But no, it
yeah.
does seem like the rest of the Middle East pretty much do hate Iran. I mean, they are being attacked by Iran for being perceived as allies of the United States of America.
Well, no, they aren't really. Iran's been dropping missiles on US bases in those countries.
Is the Burj Al Arab really a US base?
They didn't drop a missile on the Burj, though.
Oh,
did
they dropped a drone on it.
You know what? These things can go off.
Is Dubai Airport? Is Dubai Airport a US base?
Well, that's strategic, yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, they're going to piss off their neighbors, and at this point, maybe the United States don't need to do much more because their neighbors will do it for them.
But I don't know that they will. I don't know that they have the capability of doing it for them, because I think most of them have been relying on American firepower and the fact that America's got bases there. So I think that has made a big difference. But anyway, let's go back. Let's go back to the start. So when Trump took power, he more or less cut all federal aid, which is pretty good, which I think wasn't a bad move.
No, I personally think it's something that we need to look at doing here in this country. Simply because aid should be aid, and it should be going to places where it's required. And I mean, let's face it, USAID was one big scam.
Oh, yeah.
One big scam.
Yeah, and I mean, look at us. We're sending money to China. China!
Why?
Good question, mate.
Why?
Yeah,
they have nearly
exactly.
2 billion people in their country. They have a much bigger economy than we do. And they are... I want to sound like I'm in an episode of South Park here, but they took our jobs because they keep doing things like British Steel has all gone to China, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, British Steel's mainly gone to India, to be fair. Tata bought it out.
Yes.
But yeah. China's the next world superpower, really, isn't it? It's just... Is
it, though?
Economically, I think it is.
Economically, yes, but I don't think they've got the balls to try and do what they do to their own people, to anybody outside of their own little bubble.
Not yet. That's true. Not yet.
No, I mean, let's face it. Andy in the chat says we want love and peace, not war. I mean, that's the ideal scenario, isn't it, Andy? The ideal scenario is love and peace, but let's face it. The stark reality in this world of ours is that different countries have different cultures. Different cultures are not equal, and I don't mean that they're not equally valid to an extent, but they are not equal in how they take their What are you doing?
I put Norseman's.
Because Norseman Gaming is one of my friends. His name is Jimmy, and he is actually in the British Army.
So he said, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'd like to address this before I forget. So he said Cyprus isn't a US base, but a drone hit that. That's right, but everybody is saying that drone didn't come from Iran.
Well, I don't know. You don't know.
No,
we don't.
We don't know. But everyone is saying it didn't come from Iran. And when I say everyone, I mean even the mainstream media are picking that up. That drone didn't come from Iran. So, where do you think it came from?
Well, where did it come from? Who knows?
Two choices. It either came from Hezbollah in Lebanon or something like that, or it came from our 6 million friends that departed in World War II.
Look, I'm not going there. I'm not willing to go there. I'm not gonna play. I'm so far out of the loop that I'm not gonna start speculating as much as I normally would have. All right, I want you to bring me through this and tell me what's been going on.
Right, so anyway, let's go back to where we were. So he halted all federal aid, which I think wasn't a bad move. Take stock. find out where you are. You know, stop giving money away left, right, and centre.
Oh, I completely agree.
And I think not a bad move, but it was blocked last minute by the judges. See, this is the problem with America, and this country, is that the courts seem to have too much power now, because America's supposed to have.
What do you mean now?
Well, America and this country, the court's supposed to be there as an adjudicator of last resort, but it's not anymore.
But this is we live in the United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom, the courts can literally decide whether or not you can take, and they've been able to for God knows how long, whether or not you can take your sick child abroad for treatment. The courts have always had way too much power. They've always had way too much power. Now, granted, things like that, taking your child abroad for treatment might not work, but surely as a parent, that should be your decision. But it's not. It's a decision of the courts in this country, and I think it's terrible. But it is an example of, for God knows how long, the courts have been on mission creep themselves to have too much power. Basically, any institution that claims to be above the general population has too much power. Yeah. And that I mean, it's almost like not a gotcha to be saying this. It's just a fact.
I tend to concur with you on this one, my man. I tend to concur with you. Right, let's move on. We've got the UAE, so that's the United Arab Emirates, crypto bribe scandal. So Trump got $2 billion in crypto from the UAE for his personal fund. And
is this for his campaigning, or
no? This was after he got elected. These are all
okay.
These are all after he won the election.
Okay.
Right? He then relaxed AI chip export rules to the UAE.
It seems like a bit of a bribe, doesn't it?
It does.
It seems like it.
Investigations into foreign bribes. That's international scandal level, way above domestic drama.
Well, I mean, that just certainly seems like it's a bit of a foreign bribe.
And not to be outdone, Qatar gave him a brand new luxury Boeing 747 so as he could use that as Air Force One.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't be accepting a brand new Boeing 747 from Qatar in order to be used as Air Force One. I'd be going, thank you, we'll keep that in storage somewhere. Yeah. But we're not gonna put the president and all of the president's travel. How many things do you think are built into that thing to track it? Come on. Come on.
So, exactly. So, and Congress seemed to be, although they were flipping out when he did it, they do seem to be ineffectual, don't they?
Well, once again, Congress in the United States, their job is to simply filibuster anything and everything. That is their job. Is to go, oh, we've got something on the bill today. Are we going to get it resolved? Are we going to vote on it? No, we're not. We're just going to filibuster it out of existence. That's the job of Congress.
And then we have declaring war on fishing boats. So, were they or were they not trying to smuggle drugs into the US? Possibly yes, but he blew them out the water and gave the military and Hegseth, who was reveling in it, carte blanche to double tap these boats and to go at it after the guys are swimming in the water.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What are you laughing at?
Well, these American fish, I'm guessing these are foreign fishing boats.
They were coming from Venezuela. So I have no doubt they were smuggling drugs, but instead of stopping them, right, he blew them out the water with helicopters and hellfires.
Sounds to me like Hegseth had a good day.
Yeah.
He had some fun.
I mean, the whole thing's nuts. And yeah, declare war on drugs if you will, but bloody hell, I mean, the rule of law the rule of law, international law in particular, just seems to have gone out of the window here.
Yeah.
It really is. This is like living. This must be what it was like for the Star Wars when they were living under the Empire.
Trump just sitting there in his office with a little row over his head going, unlimited power.
Yeah. And then what did he do? He ends birthright citizenship.
I agree with that.
Do you?
I do.
So, do you think if someone's born in a country, they shouldn't automatically get citizenship to that country?
Well, yes, I do, because if me and my wife are on holiday in America and the kid is born in America, we are still solely British citizens and we will be returning to Britain. The kid should be classed as a British citizen, just like us, its parents. I don't agree with birthright citizenship. I'm sorry, I don't.
The kid
They're
can
the
be
only
a British
country in the world
citizen.
that do it, by the way.
Are they?
Yes.
I think maybe more used to do it, certainly, because I was nearly a Malteser.
You look like a Malteser now.
I know. But I was nearly born in Malta. And apparently I would have been entitled to have both a British and a Maltese passport. Anyway, moving on. Then we move on to withdrawal from the World Health Organization. Now, we've spoke about that at great length maybe 5 years ago. And
yeah,
I really don't see a downside to it, the way that the World Health Organization works.
Okay, so let me just interject here, because I do like to fact check. You know that. Okay, Malta generally does not grant citizenship based solely on birth for children born after August 1st, 1989.
Exactly. I was born in 62.
Yes, you were born in 62, but I do believe that as we stand, the United States of America is the only country on Earth that has sole birthright citizenship.
If I'd been born in Malta, I could have been a Malteser.
Yeah, but that was 700 years ago, John.
It wasn't that long ago.
Look at the state of you, man.
Look, my mother's just died. I mean, my mother was alive and working until 2 years ago.
Now I feel bad. Now I feel bad.
You don't need to feel bad, mate.
I was
bad. I'm not
going to offer my condolences.
Don't feel bad.
Can't believe he played that card.
I was only pointing out that although I do look old, I still had a living mother up until 2 weeks ago.
I know you did, and I know you did, and no, I am really sorry that you've been going through it these past few weeks. I know about your mother and also the issues with your wife as well, and I'm glad to hear she's on the mend.
Yeah,
because we love Andy because of how much she puts you in your place.
Yeah, she does.
She does.
Right, so where are we? Birthright citizenship, so we dealt with that. Right. We did the World Health Organization. What do you think of that?
I think the World Health Organization is a evil cabal, quite frankly.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, remember,
by an ex-terrorist.
Yes, we're not going. Yes, but also remember, folks, the World Health Organization in the year 2020, in order to declare a alleged pandemic, had to redefine the meaning of the word pandemic. That happened.
Yeah, they did.
They changed the definition.
And they completely rewrote their playbook.
They did.
After the start of the pandemic, because
they did.
Although they told countries to not stop traveling, don't lock down.
Yep. That's what it used to say.
Because that's what the playbook said. You know, ride it out. What would you call it? What's it called? You know, acquired immunity from the population. Ride it out. That's the way to do it. Now they've completely rewritten it, and it's it says almost exactly the opposite.
It does. It says
Why?
almost exactly the opposite as well. And nobody, especially in the mainstream media, nobody thought to question why they did any of this. In fact, they didn't even report that they did do any of this. But they did it. They did it, folks. I think the World Health Organization, just like when it comes to, when we were talking about earlier, judges, institutions that believe they are above the general populace have way too much sodding power. They do. And why would we destroy lives, economies, everything based solely upon the words of these unelected, evil morons?
Good questions. Good questions. And I still think not answered, despite all the inquiries and the amount of money spent.
Not answered in the slightest.
Not answered at all.
Not answered at all.
Right. Next, we will move on to termination.
I'm just going to mute my mic for 2 seconds.
Termination of affirmative action in government contracting. So this ends the requirements for diversity in federal deals, slamming the door on minorities and women.
It does not slam the door on minorities and women. Of course it doesn't. In fact, it does pretty much the opposite, does it not? What it actually does is it says to people, regardless of your race, of your gender, of your sexuality, you will all be treated equally. And you will all be told, you'll be hired or you'll be promoted based upon the merit.
Yeah.
The merit of your actions. Because, meritocracy should definitely outweigh any diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, I understand why companies and governments even wanted to do this, because it was all about optics. It was never about actually advancing the best people. It was about we think we have some historical slight upon us within our nation or within our company, and therefore we must show people we are not an ist, we are not a racist, we are not a sexist, we are just not an ist. And ending it brings back fairness, brings back actual equality, because equality of opportunity is far more important than equality of outcome. Equality of outcome is not equality at all.
But that means that people who are better suited to do the job, regardless of their skin colour, will get that position.
Mm-hmm.
But that might mean that certain groups are overrepresented.
I think regardless of whether or not certain groups are overrepresented.
Oh, man. You know what I'm saying? As the left, here's the left. The left would say it's systemic inequality rebooted.
Yeah, but we're in 2026. There's no such thing. I'm sorry, but there isn't. We're in 2026 where we literally live in countries in both the United Kingdom and the United States who are terrified of being seen at the institutional, at the federal level, of being some kind of ist. They are terrified of the mere accusation alone.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
It is crazy, but don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that there aren't people out there, and there are almost certainly people within high authority positions who are in fact those ists, because those people exist.
I personally know of police officers who have been promoted solely on the fact that they belong to a minority race. Because they certainly didn't get it on merit, because I'll be honest, were one of the thickest guys I knew.
Okay, well, once again, that's not something I can personally verify, but I'll take your word for it.
And the thing is, I'm not going to verify it because I'm not going to call him out. No. But it's something that I know within myself And I'm pretty sure that loads of people out there have seen this happen. You know, people get positions.
Yeah.
And we used to call it, you got promoted to the level of your incompetence.
Of course. But, you know, at the end of the day, ending DEI, there are so many people who, quite frankly, don't understand what DEI is and what DEI has done, who will shout and scream and, you know, rally against ending it. But what it is and what it has done is, in practice, taken the best people for the job and said, I'm sorry, you can't. No. Goodbye. And not giving the best people the opportunity to do that job. And also not giving your own company or your own government the best people in those positions.
And you're 100%. And are you putting people into danger? Because you saw those F-15s that got shot down in Kuwait. Now, that could just as easily have... Well, okay, but those F-15s could just as easily have been shot down over Iran, which would be at war with the US at the moment. But you're putting women in them, and they're landing in a Muslim country.
So
why would you do that?
Honest, now we've got more people in.
Yeah.
I have purposely kept myself out of the news cycle. I've kept myself out of the link. Now, over on Real Review UK, where we stream, and we make travel videos and stuff, during our game stream, we have started to blend in discussion of real world events. So I'll say to people what's going on, or what are you worried about, and we'll discuss it that way. But I've kept myself out of the loop because just constantly looking at the news all day, every day, really, really, really affected my mental health. Because let's face it, the mainstream media just want us depressed. They want us depressed all the time. They don't do anything. They don't give us any positive news. So I kept myself out the loop. So I am literally being led through this by John. He gave me a list of stuff earlier, and I glanced it. I did. I glanced it, and I thought,
2 pages was too much, wasn't it? Yeah. But yeah, and you know what? I didn't drag Ben on here. He volunteered. He said his head was in a much better place, and he was happy to come on and do this.
Not just tonight.
Exactly. Yeah.
I will do 1 or 2 a month. There you go. I'll do 1 or 2.
There you go, people.
Next time, I will have my talking points in order at least 5 days beforehand.
Well, you'd be tricky. You'd be tricky because I don't usually make the slides up until the day before or the day off. Remember,
Emma? What? You're What? There is good news. It's all around us, Emma.
Beats and tapes. Yeah, I've been training on a narcissistic AI beats and tapes to try and use that instead, but it wasn't working. It wasn't narcissistic enough.
But see, this is the point. Look at how downbeat Emma's comment is there. There ain't any good news over it.
Yeah, but good news. But good news doesn't sell. It
doesn't sell. I mean, like I said, good news is all around us. It's everywhere if you just look for it. But the mainstream media are not going to show it to you. And I'll say, by the way, the alternative media are not going to show it to you because it does not sell. Right. John's made that point. Doesn't sell.
It doesn't sell. Let's get back onto Trump. So where were we? What about January 6th, pardoning the rioters? Do you think that was a reasonable move? 1,500 political prisoners by Trump's statement, freed from imprisonment.
Now, this is a difficult one, and I'll tell you why this is a difficult one.
Go on. Why do you find it difficult?
Because Podium Man deserves a pardon. Yeah?
Yeah, the guy with the horns and all that.
No, well, not just him, but the guy that took the podium and walked along with a big smile on his face and took the picture.
Right.
People like that, they deserve a pardon. Whereas people like Enrico Terrio do not probably deserve a pardon.
And what did Enrico Terrio do?
I believe he assaulted a police officer.
Right, okay.
So I believe, so like I say, there's a lot of nuance here. Because if you actually did something that warranted a criminal conviction, like assaulting a police officer, which many of them did do, not a vast majority. No, not a vast majority of them, but it was a larger minority. There were a few that assaulted police officers and stuff like that. Now, if you did something like that, I would say you probably don't deserve a pardon. Maybe you don't deserve as harsh a sentence as you got, but maybe you don't deserve a pardon. Whereas if you simply, just strolled on in there, then probably, give them a pardon.
I mean, you saw the guys wandering through there, staying within the bloody ropes. It was as if they were on a tour. They're wandering through.
Well, some of them were on a tour.
Yeah, but they didn't even cross the ropes,
I mean, let's face it, the shaman was led into the chamber.
Yeah, he was.
Shown up to the fucking podium by the Capitol Police and took a picture, smiled, said a prayer, and walked off.
So here's the good one, just before we go on to our next talking point. So, Rob, I don't know, what is your name? I don't know. Is this one of your chaps?
No, this is not one of my chaps. My
Obi. Anyway, today we're getting actual news from France 24 TV because it's objective, no fluff. That's true. That is. In fact, the other day, believe it or not, I was getting more relevant information from India TV than I was getting from anywhere else.
If you've
got to rely on India for your news, what the hell?
Well, télévision de français est très bon.
French news is all right. France 24 is pretty good, and they do it in English as well. Yeah, I know. David's aghast. India, yeah, really, believe it or not. Right, where were we? Election meddling, seizure of voting records and election interference efforts, seizing 2020 data, suing states, raiding offices, all to chase fraud ghosts. I don't think they were ghosts. I think there not solid evidence of ballot stuffing in the 2020 election.
There was that movie, wasn't there, like 2,000 Mules?
Yeah, but I thought there was actual evidence that ballot stuffing did occur in some states. I don't know how widespread it was, and I haven't actually seen the 2,000 Mules movie, but I'm pretty sure that there was evidence that there was something behind that.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to defer to the 2,000 Mules movie, and people have said that what they have showcased within that movie is crap. I mean, I don't know how reliable Dinesh D'Souza is, because let's face it, if he's anything like Stupid Peters, then then it won't be reliable at all.
Yeah,
put it that way.
Oh, right, moving on. Mass expulsion and ICE. So
you mean the mass deportations that are going on?
Yeah.
Are they though? I mean, or is it just now that... Is it any worse than it's been before?
No. It's in fact, Trump has deported almost exactly half of the people that Obama deported.
Now, what I think is actually going on is once again, it's optics, and it's people who have an interest in generally making money from streaming these things, showing up to any and every... Oh, yeah, we'll show that. Thank you, Emma. Any and every ICE deportation that occurs. I think they're happening at probably the same rate they have done for the previous few years, and it's just now that we've got eyes on them.
Yeah, well, as you said, I think they're making capital out of it, because to be fair, Obama deported twice as many people as Trump did in his first term, and twice as many people as he's already deported so far in this term. So I don't think it's such a big deal. You know, that's Trump nearly 2 years in. So,
well, like I say, I honestly think it's simply a matter of optics, and It's a case that we are seeing it, and therefore we believe it's occurring more than it actually is. Because deportations of illegal migrants have been going on in the United States at a large rate since Obama, and at the largest rate under Obama. They called him the deporter in chief, for God's sake. That's what they called him.
I know. I've got 2 words for you: predator drones. Remember that?
No.
Do you not remember when Obama said that?
No.
He was threatening people in the Middle East, as America is wont to do, and that's what he said. I've got 2 words for you: predator drones.
Yeah, I mean,
And
like
then
I said,
he took out a wedding, didn't he?
he did take out a wedding. That did happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, Shalini in the chat, you're absolutely right. It is because they can't stand Trump. And let's face it, I've always been indifferent to Donald Trump. I don't love him. I don't hate him. I take a look at what his policies are and how they are enacted, and that's really all that concerns me. Because A, I'm not a US citizen, but B, I'm also not going to throw my toys out of the pram and say orange man, bad man from World War II, although he's going a bit crazy. He's going a bit crazy.
Right. So speaking of a bit crazy, what do you think of him swanning into Venezuela and removing the elected head of a sovereign country?
He's at the elected head of a sovereign country? Really?
Well, regardless of whether he is or isn't, it's still a sovereign country. What gives America the right to go in and do that?
Well, I don't think anything gives America the right to go in and do that, but I also find it really, really funny. I'm sorry, I find it really funny.
Well, yeah, but I mean, would you find it funny if he started doing it in Europe? And don't say yes.
Donald, I'll give you an address. It's 10 Downing Street. Whitehall.
No, but really, do you not think that your country should be left to sort out its own problems? It shouldn't need the world's policemen to come and fix it for them.
Yes, I do. Right. Okay. Yes. However, and there is a however there. People will have to understand why Donald Trump did this. Donald Trump didn't do this to free the people of Venezuela. He did not do this to free the people. I mean, of course, freeing the people of Venezuela is a net benefit to this because Shalini donated £5. Like old times, nice to see you back together, lads, she says.
Cheers, Shalini. Thank you, my darling.
But anyway... The point I'm making is, yes, it's a net benefit. And the people of Venezuela were very happy that he did it for the most part. But it was, what people don't seem to understand is they're saying this isn't America first. This is absolutely America first. And I'll tell you why. Venezuela is sitting on top of the largest oil reserves on planet Earth. And now Donald Trump has control of the leader of Venezuela, who has control of the largest oil reserves on Earth, which is going to be great for the American economy. So when people say that this wasn't America first, they don't quite understand what was going on. And I'm going to tie it in with Iran, and I'll tell you why I'm going to tie it in with Iran, because when it happened, I was streaming with Norseman Gaming, Jimmy, and a bunch of others. I think David was probably watching, Beats was probably watching as well, because there are regulars now. And I said, this is a trial run. I said, this is absolutely a trial run for going after the leader of Iran. This is, can we find out where the dictator is hiding and either kidnap or kill him with absolute precision in the space of one night? And what did they do 3 weeks later?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And I'm 100% behind you. It was all about the oil. It was nothing to do with drugs. It was nothing to do with stopping the drug trade to America. It was nothing to do with people coming from South America into America. It was all about the oil.
It was all about the oil, but all about that black gold, baby.
But the next thing is, again, they took out the supreme leader of Iran, or he's actually the supreme leader of the Shiite faith, isn't he? So anyway, they took him out.
No big loss to the world.
Well, yes and no.
No,
right?
no big loss to the world. There's no yes.
Well, this guy has, for what, 47 years since he was installed, not created a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, but
he made it a fatwa. He made it a fatwa that they would not create a nuclear weapon.
Well, you say they haven't created a nuclear weapon. Have they or haven't they?
Regardless, what gives, again, I've got to ask the question, what gives America the right to take out the leader of a sovereign country?
Well, first of all, nothing really. But second of all, like I said, no big loss to the world.
Well, you say that, right? You say no big loss to the world, but if we look at it, and, you know, regardless of how much and whatever Iran is funding terrorism to a degree, right? With Hezbollah and Hamas and places like that. What is it? 77% of the world's terrorism is committed by Islam. Of that 77%, 90% is committed by Sunni Muslims, which are not Iraqis. Iraqis are Shiite Muslims. So you have a country that has never attacked anyone first in 300 years.
Mm-hmm.
And yet when you look at America's record from 1947, say, how many countries have they attacked?
Oh, yeah. I mean, America, just like the United Kingdom, we're a very warmongering nation.
But but mainly on the coattails of the Yanks. But, you know, you got Korea.
Mainly on the coattails of the Yanks, but the Yanks didn't exist when we had an empire based solely upon us committing
We're going
warfare.
further back.
Yeah.
I'm taking it from the end of the Second World War, right? From the end of the Second World War, we've got Korea, right? A war that America has not won because the war is still continuing, right? It started in the 38th parallel and it's still in the 38th parallel.
Yeah.
We've got Vietnam, a war that America lost, I think, quite catastrophically.
Yeah,
we've got
obviously we got the spin.
Yeah, we've got. How can you spin Vietnam as a win? You can't. You've got Afghanistan, 21 years to replace the Taliban with the Taliban.
I was going to say, who's in control of Afghanistan now?
Exactly. So, you know, you've got the bombing.
Don't the Taliban now have like a minister for women and shit?
Yeah, you've got the bombing of Yugoslavia, Serbia, Croatia. You know, no need for it.
Look,
there's just so many places, and I mean, I could go on, but there's just so many that they've struck.
You just
so
have to
who's the bigger threat? Who's the bigger threat to world peace?
Well, I mean, I'm stumped. I'll tell you why I'm stumped on this, because war is just shit. It is just shit. But it is big business. War is big business.
And what did Mr. Eisenhower tell us when he was retired as US president? He told us all about to be careful of the military-industrial complex, didn't he?
Of course.
And
the military-industrial complex, it's a for-profit company at the end of the day.
It is. And as you said, it's massive business.
Oh, it's massive business. You know, and it's massive, massive, massive money funneled straight into the coffers of the US Treasury.
Yeah.
Now, we are also a warmongering nation. Now, I'm not saying that like you or I are warmongering, but let's face it, the people in Parliament are chomping at the bit for a nice war.
Oh, yeah. I know. Well,
Yeah.
look at Europe. I mean, Germany, they love a war anyway, but I mean, Germany's still
We
champing at
will
the
go
bit.
to the war, and we will win.
Von der Leyen,
Schnell.
fucking Callas. You know, talk about the Chihuahuas. You know, the Baltic
wa-
states are just
You
nuts.
want us to talk about world peace? Das ist verboten. Bloody Germans.
So, next.
I love you,
Tariffs.
Germany, by the way.
Global tariffs. What about global tariffs? What's all that about?
It's misguided, is what it is.
Well, this is your wheelhouse because you're always telling us about
Yeah,
your
and I don't want to
economics.
go. I don't want to go there because I'll be here for hours. But
Well,
where
just give
I-
us a brief synopsis.
a brief synopsis is he's going to fuck the US economy even more so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a brief synopsis. How this man, well, we know he's gone bankrupt a fair few times. Put it that
Yeah.
way. I was going to say how the man trades on his name, and that's
Yeah.
why he's still any kind of rich. It's certainly not because of a good business decision. I mean, all you have to do is go and look at Atlantic City to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. David's on fire tonight, is he? What's he doing? Megadeth once said, "Peace sells, but who's buying?"
Well, yeah, nobody.
Well, it's the same with the news. It rolls back. Doom, gloom, destruction. It sells. Whereas, you know, happy, clappy, hippie, tree hugging, and free love, and all that, but nobody cares.
So Trump put sanctions on the International Criminal Court for issuing warrants over Israelis. Did you know that?
Well, I mean, I know that. Yeah, but the International Criminal Court it's not a recognized body, is it? Not really. The ICC doesn't have any real power.
Nobody seems to pay any attention to it. That's
Well,
for
no, it
sure.
doesn't seem to have any real power.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to have any real power.
Yeah.
So why sanction them? Just go, yeah, pass. Just ignore them. What power do they have? It's like the World Health Organization, going back to that. What power did they actually have? They only have the power in which we give them.
Yeah, well, it's like the UN and the World Health Organization. They only have the powers that we allow them to have.
Yeah, and the thing is, we allow them, and I say we, it's the colloquial we allow them to have far more power than they should possibly ever be anywhere near.
It's the same for your government. They only have the power that we, the people, allow them
Oh yeah,
to
it's
have.
all an illusion. Because as you remember, folks, your government is meant to be your representative. They don't act like that, though, do they?
They don't, do they?
No. They're supposed to be below you, not above you. They're supposed to do as you say. You're not supposed to be doing what they say. That's the point in government. The government is elected to be the representative of the people. It doesn't work that way. In fact, though, does it?
It doesn't, does it? I'm just surprised, though, that A Bug's Life hasn't been banned as a, you know.
I've been using that. I've been using that reference for fucking 6 years. 6 years, and still nobody goes and watches that damn movie. It's on Disney Plus, folks. Get a free trial. Get a free trial. Cancel your subscription before you have to pay. Go watch A Bug's Life.
Yeah.
Tell Ben I fixed it. Robin, what did you fix?
He's fixed it all, he says.
You fixed it all.
Well, I don't know what he's fixed. Robin's fixing it.
The only things you need to fix is, folks, is you need to go subscribe to Real Review UK. That's what you need to fix.
That's that. You've had your one.
Oh, I'm going to plug the shit out of my channel, John.
Don't bother.
It's going to be a plug fest. By the time this is done, you're going to feel like it is a butt plug. Okay?
Oh, that's a shame. We seem to have lost Ben's audio. Oh, Ben, are you okay? Can you hear us? He's not a happy bear. Anyway, right, moving on.
I can just go, you know.
Yeah, you could, yeah. Bye. Diplomatic meltdown, fallout with Ukrainian President Zelensky. Do you remember that? Do you remember when he fell out with Zelensky? That was a good one. The Oval Office blow-up led to paused aid, intel cuts in Ukrainian deaths, allies bailed out, Trumpshire firings, fractured alliances. Yeah, that was a good one. I did like it when he fell out with Zelensky.
Ollie, put the link in the chat, would you?
I don't know if he can put links in the chat, can he? What is it?
My channel.
Yeah. Don't bother. I don't think you're allowed to put links in the chat. Right, where was I? Yeah, so falling out with Zelensky. Zelensky's really trying desperately now to get people on his side again, isn't he?
Oh yeah, well, I don't know, but he's been trying to get people on his side for years, mate. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares about Ukraine anymore.
Yeah, but he's been saying that if you want advice on how to fight drones, you know, you Middle Eastern states that are getting attacked by Iran, we'll help you out.
Listen, there's a new shiny war going on.
What about the did you see the one the other day about the gold? The gold. I'll take that out. I'll ban you from the chat. I'll get one of my mods to take that out. Don't start.
I am a managing mod.
Yeah, you are at the moment. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so did you see the one in Austria the other day? So
no.
40 million, in fact, it was like 75 million's worth of dollars and 9 kilos of gold were in 2 trucks transporting from Austria through Hungary towards Ukraine. Yeah. And what's his name? Orban seized that, arrested the 7 Ukrainians that were with it. One of them was an intelligence general from the Ukraine army. Where was that money going?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Well, it was going into the most corrupt country in Europe. So, Christ knows where it would have gone after that. Right, what about Greenland?
It would have gone into Mrs. Zelensky's next Paris shopping trip.
What about Greenland?
Greenland is an amusing is an amusing situation, isn't it? Do we think he's going to get it?
He's going to take it.
Do we think he's going to get it? I don't know.
I think he'll take it. I think he'll take it at some point.
Do you think he'll take it, or do you think they'll just give up and give it to him?
I don't see them giving up because he's not been very nice to Europe recently, has he?
No.
So I don't see them giving it up, but I can see him just basically taking it. I don't know the whole thing. I know the whole thing's bollocks, but Trump doesn't seem to think like that, David. He just seems to. He has this. You know, we need that. We need that entire country because we want to control the North Atlantic.
I'll tell you one good thing he appears to have done is stop the Chagos deal.
Has it stopped though?
Well, they can't. They can't do it because of the treaty with Diego Garcia.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is definitely where MH370 went. Anyway,
MH370 is at the bottom of the ocean.
After its pit stop at Diego Garcia, I think you're probably right, yeah.
Because there are parts of it washing up on a not daily basis, but there's at least 3 or 4 parts of it wash up every year.
But yes, they can't just give away the Chagos Islands because there is a treaty. There is a treaty about the use of Diego Garcia, and stopping that was, I think, a good thing because there was no need for it in the first place. Nobody really cared.
Yeah, there was no need for. Well, the only people that cared are the people that are living there, as what do you call them, Chagosians or whatever, because these islands weren't inhabited until I think it was the French initially that occupied them. But they were and weren't inhabited for years and years. And Mauritius in India never had anything to do with them.
No,
never. And eventually the British got them, and the people that are there consider themselves British and want to keep living there. They don't want to be fucking shipped off to Mauritius.
No. No, like I say,
in fact, they tried to evict them. Did you see them getting eviction notices? They tried. The British government tried to evict them so as they could give the islands back to Mauritius. And, you know,
good old,
absolutely nuts.
Good old Starmer. Good old Keir.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, don't we just love him?
So, where were we?
I don't know. Where were we?
Greenland.
You're the one.
Greenland.
Again,
what about coming out of NATO? Do you think US will come out of NATO?
Either that, or they'll take full control of NATO.
Do they not really have full control of it anyway?
Well, I would say not, because otherwise they wouldn't be threatening to come out of it.
Or do you think it's not so much threatening to come out, it's threatening to stop paying for it more than anything?
Well, aren't they the single largest funder of NATO?
By some considerable margin.
So if people are not paying their way, then yeah, I don't see an issue of coming out of it.
So what about attacking Iran? That's the last thing on the list.
So what about attacking Iran?
Do you think that was a good move or a batshit crazy move?
I think it was an inevitable move.
Do you think it was Trump that made the decision?
I think it's a decision that's been made for a long time. It's just been waiting for somebody to pull the trigger.
But why do it now when you've ran down all your stocks?
I'll tell you why. Because he's a lame duck president who wants legacy.
So he was looking to get in and out quick, and that's why he took out, the supreme leader.
Yeah.
Because he thought, we'll do a Maduro, we'll be in and out in 2 days, and the regime will change because we've knocked out the top guy.
And just put a new one in.
Yeah, well, he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand the difference between Iran and Venezuela. So, as you said, they've just put a new guy in, and they've got a kind of semi-distributed military command strategy anyway. So there wasn't any way that Iran was going to fall over like that.
No.
So now he's committed.
Oh, he's fully committed now.
He's committed to bombing Iran. That's not going to achieve much, because look how much they bombed Vietnam. They bombed Vietnam back into the Stone Age, and it didn't make any difference.
And that's exactly what's going to end up happening to Iran. Okay, it's exactly what's going to end up happening to Iran. But this is about legacy. This is about saying I was the one with the balls to do it. He's a lame duck president. He's he's entering his final 2 years. Anything he does has no real meaning at this point. And anything he does,
I understand
it can just be reversed.
But the biggest problem from this point of view, that I would see, right, is that he has midterms coming up in November, right?
Yeah, which he's going to lose.
So he's going to lose the House.
He's going to lose the House. He might even lose the Senate also.
Yeah, and if he does, there's no barrier to him being impeached.
Yeah, but there's a difference between impeachment and conviction.
Yes, there is. I mean, Clinton not
I
get
mean, he was
impeached?
twice impeached. Last time he was not
Yeah.
convicted.
Yeah,
You know,
but if he loses the House and the Senate by a considerable margin, he might end up getting convicted.
he may well, but then the Supreme Court is there to also keep that in check, because they issued a decree that the presidential power is pretty much unlimited, didn't they? The decisions he makes in office cannot be prosecuted, and that goes to any president, be it
Supermum
Biden.
2012 says the way he's going, he's not going to make it until November.
Oh yeah, that's Debbie, and she absolutely hates Trump, right? But she's not like a raging liberal in any sense of the word at all. She just really doesn't like the man.
Yeah.
And I can fully understand that. He rubs so many people the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because
he just seems to have selected the wrong people this time to be advising him.
I mean, what I will say is Linda McMahon's flown under the fucking radar, and she just casually got on with education. I'll just do that. Nobody cares about Linda. Is it intentional? I don't know. But what I do know is that he's a lame duck president. He's always said he's never going to start any new wars. It appears he started a new war.
He has, yeah.
That will piss off his base. That will upset his base.
Yeah, because the Pentagon's now saying this could drag on to September.
Oh, I think probably longer.
But the first 2 weeks of any 6-year war are always the most difficult.
Remember, this is a special military operation. It will last just a few days.
Well, you can see, but you can see the difference between a special military operation and what Trump's doing. Because if Putin had wanted to, he could have bombed the shit out of Ukraine.
Oh yeah, he could have done.
And he hasn't done that, to be fair to him. He hasn't killed a lot of civilians.
Debbie, I don't think it's delusion more than it's desperation. Now, people might dislike me for saying that, but I've always been indifferent to Trump. Glasgow Central Station has collapsed.
It was on fire. Bloody hell, if it's I don't know if it's Central Station that's on fire, but there was one of the streets next to it was on fire, or a building. I might be wrong. I thought because I saw it on fire and Central Station was closed.
Yeah,
but I hadn't realised it was above the actual station.
But look,
that'll cause fucking chaos.
Getting back to what we were discussing though, Donald Trump does not get another shot at this. He does not get to be president of the United States again, and he wants to say, "I was an outstanding president. I did this. Look at these achievements. Look at what I did." And that is entirely why he has gone into Iran. He's gone into Iran because he wants to get it over and done and dusted real quick and say, look what I did to Iran in just this short space of time. It's so transparent. It's unreal. People keep looking for reasons that he's done this and digging deep. It's nothing more than legacy. It's all about legacy. The man's as vain as they come. He demands loyalty. He wants to be seen as the best at everything he does. And that's what it's all about.
I'm just looking at the station thing.
Shalini, you've derailed the show.
Yeah, you have, yeah.
Derailed the show entirely.
So
the good thing I love you, Shalini.
Yeah, it's on fire. Bloody hell. It looks like it might be the kind of homeless hotel that went up.
No deal. Not good.
Well, you can imagine who set that up on fire.
Well, Beat says, and aliens, it's always aliens. Well, I think John's alluding to it quite possibly being aliens, but in a different sense.
Yeah.
Anywho, right.
So what's the consensus then? Do you think he has made a slew of bad decisions?
Absolutely.
Yeah, right. Or has he made some that I don't know, you went along with a lot of these decisions, did you not?
Well, yes and no, because, like I said, I understand why he's done them. I understand why he's taking the decisions he's taking. And
Yeah.
it really is. It all boils down to legacy. It's not as deep as people want it to be. He is just so afraid of being categorized in history as the worst president in United States history. And that is probably what the history books will look at him as. Because, let's face it, the history books are not written by the best people. Is he the best president ever? Probably not. Is he the worst president ever? Probably not. But he's making some bad decisions. He's making some good ones. Birthright citizenship is a good decision as far as I'm concerned. Very good decision.
Stops anchor babies, but...
Well, exactly.
But was that really such a big problem? Was it? I don't know.
Well, it was to his base.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got to remember, in order to be... Yeah, going back to what we said earlier, people only have the power that they are allowed to have. Yeah. And if you lose your base, you've lost your power. So of course he's going to play to his base.
Yeah. And when you look at it, when you actually look at what people are saying, Keir Starmer hasn't lost his base.
Keir Starmer never had a base.
No, but he hasn't lost his base, because when you look at the people that support Labour, many of them still support him. In fact, I would say the majority still support him. It's like
there is a great many things I could say about people who support Labour.
Yeah, but nobody seems to have the capability of thinking critically. It seems to be that nowadays people pick one side or the other, and that's it. And that's
Absolutely.
not, it doesn't have to be like that. You know, you should be looking at every issue, every problem separately, because you can agree with 10 things that Trump does and disagree with 100, or vice versa.
Absolutely.
That still doesn't mean that you have to be a Trump supporter, you know?
But I never have been.
Yeah, I mean, look at Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer has done some things that are reasonable. I find it very difficult to say good, but some of them have been reasonable decisions. You know? So, but if you say that, then you instantly lose all the people who hate Keir Starmer.
Yeah, but that, well, once again...
And this is wrong.
Yeah, but it is wrong, but let me say that most people, the big players in new media, play into that same politics of division.
They do,
It is one side or the other. Whether or not they're left wing, whether or not they're right wing, it is what our side does is good. What your side does is bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And the only person I seem to out of new media that I now find reasonable is Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks.
Yeah.
I think she's very reasonable. Yeah. I think she was absolutely insane at one point, but I think she had a coming to Jesus moment, and she's certainly.
I don't know her, but you know, I mean, there's.
Oh, she was an absolute, you know, down the rabbit hole communistic far leftist, and now a lot of her old base hate her because she looks at everything from a nuanced perspective, and sometimes agrees with the right wing on things. Oh.
Yeah. It's just, I find it annoying that there is so much tribalism. There's just so much tribalism. There really is.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That is what has been manufactured. It's the politics of division. Mm-hmm. It's divide and conquer. the reason it's done is simply to keep us arguing and fighting with one another, and then the people at the top continue to just plow on and do what they're going to do. And what they're going to do is never, ever going to benefit you or I. It's going to benefit them.
Yeah.
And them solely.
Then we should see what happens tomorrow when Mr. Starmer panders to another group in British society.
I no idea what you're talking about, but
well, tomorrow he's supposed to be coming out with his anti-Muslim hostility bill.
Anti-Muslim hostility bill.
Yeah.
Is there an anti-Christian hostility bill?
No.
Is there an anti-Judaism?
Nope. There's no other ones.
An anti-Hare Krishna?
Nope.
I mean, they've never done anyone in the arm, have they?
No, it's just Muslims. It's just Muslims.
I mean, that seems like a bit of a slippery slope, doesn't it?
You think?
Seems like a bit of a slippery slope.
Well, look at fucking. Somebody just held I think Glasgow City Council just held a fucking, I don't know what it's called, Pishtar or something, when they break their fast. They've just fucking put one on for free. Pishtar, yeah?
Iftar.
Pishtar, yeah. Anyway, and they put one on for free in the city chambers. So that it's not free. We paid for it. Or the people that pay taxes pay for it, yeah? Just
to address Shalini in the chat, it absolutely seems like a new blasphemy law.
Yeah, of course it is.
And we should never have blasphemy laws against any religion.
Never.
They should all be able to be criticised, mocked, whatever, equally.
So this is the problem. Do I now need to take down my flag that I've got behind us because in case that it's seen as a tool of hate? That's the latest thing, isn't it? The Union Jack is a tool of hate.
I'll buy a giant one.
Well, I've got plenty of flags in the background.
I see you've got plenty of flags in the background, but make your background just one giant Union Jack.
Yeah. Well, the background is on the thing anyway. But the whole thing is ridiculous.
You say it will simply curtail free speech, Shalini. Free speech doesn't exist in the United Kingdom. It hasn't existed in the United Kingdom for quite some time, if ever it did at all.
We don't have free speech anymore.
It is an illusion. If you have hate speech laws, and the things that can be said or should not be prosecuted could be absolutely disgusting, could be abhorrent. We don't have to agree with them. We don't have to like what is being said. But should those words be criminalized? Well, as long as they're not a direct threat to life or a direct threat to somebody's physical harm, I don't see why they should be. And to introduce what is, I'll have to look further into it, but what seems to be on the surface, blasphemy laws against one particular religion, it's a slippery slope, which we will all fall down very, very, very fast.
Very much so.
And on that note, I think it might be time for us to say our goodbyes.
I think you may be correct.
Have you all enjoyed it? Have you all enjoyed it? That's the question. I mean, once again, my talking points have not been well researched. In fact, they have not been at all researched. So I have simply commented on what I have been told tonight. I'm glad to see it has been. Thank you, Frankie.
I've found myself quite. I don't know. I think I've kind of lost. I've lost the to and fro that we used to have.
That's because we both didn't know what we were talking about for the most part. We were just fucking making it up.
Yeah, that's probably true. But wasn't that what we did in All In? We just made it up.
Well, at least I had some slides. I had some preparation.
I did the slides.
You did the slides, and I looked at them.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah.
I looked at them.
Well, maybe when we do all in, then
Emma, you know where I am. You know where you can find me pretty much 7 nights a week. You know where you can find me.
If you want to watch them.
6 p.m. UK time. Come and say hi. I've even got a camera now, so you can look at my pretty face. John, you know as well as I do, mate, right? They come here to look at me. Not you.
and you know, I put weight on as well, so I can't.
Oh, I'm a fat bastard. I'm a fat bastard.
What was it? I called you the fat burgers back in the house.
Fat burger, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like
it's mostly
the world's
gaming,
fucking nuts. The world's nuts, mate. It really is.
We have our travel videos, and a new series of those is starting to come out from tomorrow. But we mostly game life, but we talk about life, the universe, and everything. So it's the games are really just a vehicle to have people come in and watch while we chat shit. So that's really what we do. We can talk about anything within reason. Within reason. John has missed you so much, Ben. He's been comfort eating, says Frankie.
That's probably not right, but
I mean, it looks right.
I've been drinking the. No, what can I say? Do you like my t-shirt?
What is it?
What is
stand
it?
up. Oh Jesus Christ!
I wear that for the Polish guys downstairs.
Jesus Christ!
Right. Okay. You know what to say. It's been great
for you.
For you. What's going on?
I don't know. We're still live. We are.
Oh, I'll try that again. It's been great.
Try it again.
For you.
Flag pin.
There's an American flag
Sunny
there.
as a TV grin. Talking tough from a leather chair.
That's
Sending kids where they'll never sit.
It's just I'm just an outro for the show.
Golden tie. Talking like it's do or die. Papers power while the cameras spin. Every word is a practice line. Walks, gotta walk. Big talk, big stage, small cause beat the drum, sell the shock. Warhawks, gotta walk. Podcast rage, sells fear like a backstage pass. New suit, same old script. Every map is a looking glass. Front row, cheering from the studio glow. Draw the lines with a marker pen. Other people pay the debt again. Warhawks, gotta walk. Big talk, big stage, small cars, beat the drum, sell the suck. Warhawks, gotta walk. Name the names, then dodge the blame. Call it fate, call it keep us safe. They count votes, we count ghosts. Who counts the folded flags on kitchen table?